Okay, so for everybody out there that is saying that Mick wasn't forced out of the band, that Mick wasn't fired, that Mick wasn't unhappy, you must watch what's going on right now between Carmine Appice and Nikki Sixx, okay? So Nikki has been responding to like so many messages on Twitter, and he's taken some sort of like jabs at Carmine, but then he took like a direct, like it was like a direct punch, and he said that a washed up drummer does not speak for Motley. Motley speaks for Motley. But by calling Carmine, come on, I mean, okay, first of all, if you know nothing about music, let me educate you here, right here at the Sight Sounds Flavors YouTube channel. Carmine Appice is a drum god. Okay, he is rock and roll royalty. He played with Jeff Beck. He was made famous in Vanilla Fudge. If you've ever heard Blue Murder, that is Carmine Appice. So for Nikki Sixx to call Carmine, who also played with Rod Stewart, by the way, and I mean, Rod is like rock, just like, you know, it's so, anyways, and he also played with Vinnie Vincent. There's a secret recording of Carmine and Vinnie from like pre-Invasion, pre-Kiss. Carmine is like so like entrenched in rock and roll that for Nikki Sixx to call him a washed up drummer is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, is absolute, but why is he calling? See, people don't want to admit that Nikki Sixx is full of shit. They don't want to admit that Motley Crue turned its back on Mick. They're like, Motley Crue doesn't turn their back on people. Didn't Motley Crue fire Vince Neil in 1992? Like a year after they did that ridiculous MTV rockumentary where they said, you know, if one of us was gone, it wouldn't be Motley Crue. Come on. So, I mean, look, guys, I mean, but all of that aside, all of John Corabi's take aside, even all of Carmine's take aside, because Carmine says he spoke to Mick Mars. He spoke to Mick Mars days ago. But anyways, putting that all aside, the fact that Nikki is calling him a washed up drummer means that Carmine's statement has made so many rounds that it's prompted the leader and sole songwriter, more or less, of Motley Crue to snap back, to respond back. Excuse me, I'm drinking Ale 81, which is Kentucky to the core soda. I'm a little gassy. But here's the thing. Carmine did not attack Nikki. Carmine did not attack Tommy. Carmine did not attack Vince. Carmine just said that Mick was unhappy in the band, that Mick didn't want to play the backing tracks, and that Mick thought 2015 was really the end of it, right? And Nikki, in turn, has attacked Carmine. He has made it personal. And I guarantee you, Carmine Appice is not going to snap back at Nikki Sixx. Because, like, he's not... And you know, what I find to be really funny is that Nikki is trying to make it seem like Carmine has come out of the woodwork for no other reason but to make money. I don't know what kind of money he's made, if any at all, by relaying Mick Mars statements to, I guess, the press. But Nikki is basically questioning the guy's credibility, calling him a has-been, basically a washed-up drummer. What's the difference between a washed-up drummer and a has-been? And he's making it very, very personal. He's also answering a lot of individual fans' tweets, and I think that he's doing damage control to a certain extent, because I feel that a lot of Motley fans would be absolutely outraged with Nikki and the crew if they either fired Mick or made it into a situation where all he really could do was retire, essentially firing him. You can make a situation like unbearable on someone and you have not actually fired them. Like if you live in like Seattle, you could move someone to like Northern Alaska or something. Or if you like in mixed situation, you play the backing tracks or you don't play at all. You come back on tour with us or you're not in the band. You make a new record with us or you're not in the band. Now there's a statement going around that Nikki wants the crew to go to 2031 so they can celebrate a 50th anniversary. They might have said to Mick, listen, if you're not into it for 2031, you're not in the band. You know what I mean? Like just basically ultimatums where the guy had no choice but to leave. That to me is tantamount to being fired. But anyways, I just wanted to come on record to say, guys, do not call people that are citing the possibility that Mick was forced out as liars or clickbaiters or just bullshitters, because Carmine made the statement for Mick. And if it hadn't been true, Nikki would have probably ignored it, right? Because that's usually what you do when there's a lie, right? Or when there's like dishonesty. Or he could have just said, hey, that's not true, and left it at that. But to lash out at Carmine, to call him a washed up drummer, and then to say that the people that are promoting this theory, whether it's Carmine's or it's John Carabi's or it's whoever else, maybe me and maybe you, if you have an opinion and they're not just reading off the Motley Crue press release, then everybody is after clickbait. Like, I don't know, but you can check the analytics on my videos. I'll probably get 300 views out of that. I don't think I can buy a soda cap with that. So I'm just doing it because I'm a Motley fan. And Carmine's just doing it because he's Mick Mars' friend. And Nikki's just doing it because maybe Nikki Sixx, as a lot of times in the past, currently may be absolutely full of it, thinking that us, the fans, are stupid. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like a Gene Simmons kind of thing, too, because I think Gene thinks that we're stupid, too. And so does Paul. Because that's what, with these ridiculous stories about, Peter leaving the band, and then Peter was fired, and Ace leaving the band, and Ace was fired, and Ace was never fired, and just a bunch of nonsense, Oh, Peter's hands hurt, he couldn't keep playing. Oh, Ace didn't have any contributions, he only did Into the Void. Obviously, I have a lot of anger here, guys. I have a lot of anger here. But I got to tell you something. There's a lot of similarities between Gene and Paul and Nikki Sixx. You know what I mean? There's a lot of similarities. In fact, I said it before, I'll say it again. There's a lot of similarities between how Peter exited Kiss in 1980 and how Mick Mars exited Motley Crue in 2023.